I thought by way of something slightly different, I'd run through my particular approach to imaging the moon, and in particular processing those images. In here you'll see I have an AVI file taken last night with my Hypercam 183C at prime focus on my 9¼ SCT. Let's just have a look and we'll see what the actual AVI looks like. So you can see it's Plato, Vallis Alpes. It's a typical image. You'll notice a slightly red hue, which is because it was taken using an IR pass filter, and a little bit of wobble because there was a little bit of wind, nowhere near as much as previous nights, but a little bit of a wobble on it. So that's the file, and what we first do, or what I first do, is take it into this program here, auto stack it. If I drag it across, and you can do a drag and drop with auto stack it, it'll take a little time to register, and it's a surface image, so I select surface, and then you can actually adjust the scale in order to fit. And this box here is the area that you're going to set as the main stabilization. So I'll stick that by pressing Control and clicking. I'll move it so it sits over the detail of the Vallis Alpes. And then what you do is analyze the result. And this takes a little bit of time, and basically it's going through each file, and I think in this instance this AVI consists of 6,000 frames, so there's a lot of frames for it to go through, and it will look at contrast and look at positional alignment, etc. And when it's done it, it then presents a graph that allows you to select the number of files or frames that you wish to use in the final process. It takes a little while, but I think it's worth sticking with it to see what the process is. It's really not that time consuming. Sometimes, and particularly with planets where you've got the whole disk, I will actually go through another program first called PIP, just basically to center the image on the frame. So here we are, it's presented this graph, and this shows every frame with the total number, or this overlying curve that shows quality. Now what I normally do is look to hit the 75% mark, and what you do again is Control and click, and you'll see that that's indicated that the number of files over 75% quality wise equates to 14%. So I'm going to stack only 14%. I'll then pop over here and apply alignment points. Now you can select the size of the alignment point, but the main thing to do is not make that size too small. There might be a thought that lots of alignment points of a smaller size would be more accurate, but in fact I don't believe that's true. You need alignment points that are big enough to cover the pertinent area of detail. So I'll click there, and you can see what I generally do is add another couple that sit over the features that I consider important. And then you say stack. Takes a little while to do this. You have the option of letting it do an RGB alignment, and you could also, in this instance I've said that it should auto detect the colour, but you can set it to force the Bayer matrix of your camera, or just simply tell it that it should be RGB. Nearly there. See here. And when it's finished, it will say done, and it will drop the file back into the original folder. You can see it's going through stages. First of all, it establishes the best reference image against which others are assessed, and then it will align the images, and then it will stack them on top of the other, and then it does, finally it does an alignment point analysis and make sure that they're combined and aligned one to the other. Nearly there. The last stages tend to be quite quick. You can see the bar hurrying along. There we go. And now it says done. So you can close down auto stack it, and there in a separate folder, and it's numbered in accordance to the number of percentage of frames. So you can see it says 14. Then go to Registack 6. And you can't drag and drop this sort of file into Registacks, so you have to do a select. We know where it is. We go select, we go desktop, and we then find the folder, Plato image, P14, there it is. There's the stacked TIFF file, is what AS3 produces. And because you're putting a TIFF straight in, it will immediately bring it into the wavelets. Now, what I normally do is just take the top wavelet and drag it across right the way. You can make sure you show the full image, make sure you show the processing area. Now that is a bit too harsh, so I will pull that back a bit. So do it all. Still think it looks too harsh. Also, possibly a little bit on the dark side, so you can use the gamma function, which you can either drag up, or you can use this function, which is just simply to apply and do it all. The good thing of this is if you're doing several images to montage together, you can set a numerical value rather than guessing where you dragged it to previously. The other thing you can do is go in and adjust the RGB balance. Now obviously, because this is an infrared pass filter, it favours the red. So we can reduce the red to get the colour to a more neutral grey. Pull back the green a little bit as well, because These images tend to favour being a bit green. Again, do it all. I think that's about as far as I'm going to take it with Registax. So we'll just save the image. Once again, we'll save it into the folder, and we'll call it Plato RS6. So it's been through Registax. Save it. Now what I do is I go into Photoshop and close this down. And in fact, what you can do once this is open, which takes a little while because there's a few plugins and things that have to come in with it, particularly the Nick collection. We'll go to this here, and there's our Plato RS6. We'll drag that into there, let it open. Let's make sure these are on top. So here we have the file. Now what I will do, I don't know what's happened there. Turn that off. What I'll do is duplicate the layer. There we go, duplicate the layer, and we change it from normal to overlay, and then we apply a high pass filter. The settings here will vary, but that looks fine. And then you apply a layer mask to hide all, and what that allows you to do is take the brush tool, big, and with the brush tool you can just stroke over selected details, and you'll see that the use of the mask allows you to enhance areas within the image. It's just basically pulling out detail, these little mountains and small craterlets here. And if you feel it's a bit harsh, what you can do is go into Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and add just a bit of blur, say 4, just to soften the effect. Then you merge down. And I think what I might do in this instance is reduce the saturation of colour, because it looks a bit artificial to say the least. So by pulling the colour back on saturation, you can get that. And sometimes what I'll do, even though I've just done a sharpening with the layer mask, is go into Smart Sharpen. Smart Sharpen is a function within Photoshop that I find actually quite good. It applies sharpening in a rather more intelligent way than simply saying sharpen. It's not bad. Maybe a little bit of lightning. Now we'll save it. We'll save it into here, and we'll save it RSPS to show that it's been photoshopped. Now, actually, this isn't very noisy, but would I have to reduce noise? I use this net collection with a function called define to, and what that does is throws up an additional screen and allows you to select areas that you want to use as a point of reference for noise. I'm going to stick one in there. You then measure noise, and if you look here, you'll see that it does soften it considerably. I'm not going to apply this in actual fact because it doesn't need it, but you can reduce it. If you want to reduce the amount of noise reduction, you can change these figures here, and that will then reduce the noise level slightly less. But I'm going to cancel that because I don't think there's anything wrong. Just double check, save as. There it is, that one there. Save. Okay. Right. And that would be the way I'd process. This is probably not the best I've ever done in this area, but it's, I think, a useful example. Hope that has been useful.